Welcome back to my channel. My name is Blair and today we're going to do a cook with me. I am making a beef stew in the crock pot. My goal this year was to do one new recipe every 2 weeks. I have stayed on top of that, so I've never actually made a beef stew, so I thought this would be fun to try. I even went on Pinterest and pulled up recipes, but there were so many steps to them. And then I remembered I had bought the Kinder seasoning. I think it's like Grandpa's beef stew, Sunday pot roast. I don't know, some sort of name like that. I'll show you the packet when I get it out. Recipe that's on the back of the packet. And I was like, oh yeah, one, I need to use that seasoning because I bought it because it sounded good, but I hadn't made anything with it. And two, it was a whole lot simpler in steps. So we went with that. I will show it to you, but I will say I've been using a lot of the Kinder seasoning brand and they are so good. Like I love the taco one. What was the other one I did? I think it was beef pot roast, something like that. I don't know. Either way, really good. So just wanted to preface that's where I got the recipe. I will try to insert a photo of the back where I'm actually using it because obviously I can't link it. But let's get cooking. So for the recipe, you obviously need a crock pot, obviously your cooking utensils, broth, tomato paste, a little bit of all-purpose flour, baby carrots, an onion, baby potatoes, and then of course stewed meat. So I started by getting the stewed meat into a bowl so you could add the 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour to it. I guess this is to help it thicken once it's in the stew. And then next I move on to the vegetables, washing and cutting the potatoes into smaller bites. And then the recipe didn't call for an onion, but I just like onion and stuff like this, so I did dice up into larger chunks onion. Once everything was prepared, you basically just dump it all into the crock pot and mix it up. All of that's in the crock pot. It says to cook it on low for 8 hours. One thing, excuse me, one thing I have learned when you're making stew meat, pot roast in the crock pot, stuff like that, the longer it goes, the more tender and fall apart it is, and that's how I like it. I don't like it when it's a tough texture. It turns me off from eating it. So it's before 10 a.m. and I have it in the crock pot. I don't plan to eat until like 6-ish. So that's gonna have plenty of time to go. I also didn't measure the liquid per what the directions said on the packet, but I just filled it so it had enough liquid that it looked like everything was not fully covered, but that the fluid came up. I didn't go over the top because I know with crockpots you get condensation, the meat, all that stuff, the juices are going to start to add more fluid. So I will keep an eye on it probably halfway through. If it looks like it's dried up or there's not enough fluid, I will add more of the beef broth to it. And then the final little thing I wanted to throw in here is that when we get closer as well, I'm going to make some biscuits. I just think that will go really well with it. I'm just doing the traditional biscuit recipe on the back of a Bisquick box. So very simple, but I will show you that when we get closer. And of course, what the finished product looks like in 8 hours. So as I mentioned earlier, I was gonna make some biscuits. This is just the recipe off the back of the Bisquick mix box. So pretty cut and dry, just milk and mix, stir it up, and then drop it into biscuits. There you have it, another cook with me. And I will say the stew has excellent taste, like really good flavor. I will say I did notice later when I look back at some of the clips that I used the Kinder Seasoning Sunday pot roast. It wasn't the beef stew one. I'll have to get the beef stew one to try it again, but either way, this has got really good flavor. But I hope you enjoyed. If you make the recipe, let me know. Again, I put a screenshot in the video of the recipe from the back of the packet. And as always, I hope everybody has a blessed day.